Well, hey guys, we are backstage at our Money and Marriage event, and I'm here with Dr. Les Parrott. We've been doing this event for how long now, Les?
Like 2.5 years.
I know.
We've saved so many people out there from disaster in their relationships.
So many lives.
With money
We are
and marriage.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been so fun to get to know you and travel around and talk about this subject that is so hard for people, which is money and marriage. And so for this episode, we're talking all about how to enrich your life, and enriching your marriage is something that's really, really crucial.
Yeah.
And you are a marriage expert, and you actually
I'm just glad to hear you acknowledge that for once, because that's not how you normally treat me.
Usually I'm like, Les, come on, Les. Dr. Les Parrott, the expert.
I love the theme of this show, though, being rich, because rich is not all about money, right? You can be rich in friendship and certainly rich in marriage, and that's what we're going to talk about.
And so you have done a ton in your past, but I think one of the most fascinating things is you helped create eHarmony.
Well, Neil Clark Warren, is the founder of eHarmony.
Yes, he was in all the commercials.
Yeah, everybody knows Neil. You can't go into a restaurant without everybody going, hey, that's the guy,
That's the love guy, the eHarmony guy.
But we were with Neil and his wife, Marilyn, at the front end of that when it was an idea at the kitchen table. And it's been an incredible thing to watch that company now. Wow, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
But we were part of that ride. It was super fun.
Okay, so what would be some of your thoughts around when you hear the words enrich your marriage? What are some ideas that come to mind? What are things you think about with couples that you've met with counseling or on the road, and you know, like, okay, these couples, they have a rich marriage? What would you say?
Well, one of the things as a psychologist that we know about people that have life at the highest levels, that are, fulfilled, that are feeling like they're living the life, right? They're enriched, rich on multiple fronts, is they have control in their lives. And people that feel out of control with anything, money or health or anything else, anxiety goes up. And obviously, to live in the present, to live a life of contentment, you have to have some modicum of control over the things that you can control, which is money, which is, you can do a lot about relationships. It's a two-sided thing, but as a team, you can do a lot to control that relationship. And so those are the things that when we start to look at the people at the top 10%, that's the thing that really stands out from the research. They got a handle on this thing.
So they have a handle
love.
On life. So what does that translate to, like, in a marriage? Like when you see a couple, like, is it like, okay, they communicate well, they problem solve together, they laugh? Like what are those like components that you're like,
It's all those usual suspects. Communication is the heartbeat of marriage, so you got to get a lock on that. And managing conflict is critically important. In fact, we know that's one of the biggest predictors of success in marriage, is whether you can navigate conflict. Not whether you have it or not. Conflict's inevitable, right? But here's the other thing. They're so intentional about their marriage, their relationship. So, in fact, one of the things that I know that these couples do, and certainly Leslie and I do this, is that they have a weekly powwow. They have a weekly meeting, just like a business would or a board would have a meeting. They kind of have a time where let's look at the week ahead. What are we going to do? And it's not just all about logistics and how about babysitters, not that. It's like, how do we want to feel and look by the time we get 7 days away from here? More importantly, they do that monthly and yearly. There's kind of a rhythm to it. And it's so interesting to me, Rachel, so many couples discover it wasn't the big trips that they planned, the most expensive weekend they had. It was just these kind of things they stumbled into.
Yeah.
Like Leslie might say, remember that time we walked around Green Lake in Seattle and it was raining and we didn't even have jackets, but we just walked around it, and it was just like we had the best talk about our future and about our two boys, and that's like what really stood out. And you wouldn't plan on that, right? You don't go, hey, let's go have a walk when it's,
without jackets.
But those things happen. And so they look back on that and they build on that kind of momentum in the relationship. So it's intentionality. That's the word, intentionality.
Yes, that's so good. Because it's true even in the money space. Like we say, people that succeed with their money, they're intentional.
Yeah.
They do it on purpose. And the same is true with your marriage.
And you've heard me say a million times, newlyweds, we tell them, choose your ruts carefully because you're going to be in them for a long time, right?
Yes.
But couples at any age or stage can carve a new groove into the relationship with new habits, healthy habits. And that's what enriches your relationship. That's what makes you rich in marriage.
That's good. Okay, what are like the top 2 habits in mind? Like what are things that couples can be doing?
So it's going to be different for every couple, but I'll give you a few examples. So for Leslie and me, it's that weekly time.
Yeah,
that's
good.
the deal. But also having a date night. And this sounds like, well, yeah, everybody says that, have a date night. Here's what most people don't understand about that. It's not just going out for a movie and dinner. That's great. If that's what you can do, do it. But it's the novel things that you do as a couple, especially if you've been married a few years, that brings back this shower of neurochemicals that you experienced when you were first falling in love.
So when you are talking to couples, what do you find are reasons why they are dissatisfied in their marriage?
Well, in the big picture, it's kind of the opposite, right? They don't have control of their lives, let alone their marriage.
Yeah.
And so they're spinning out of control financially and otherwise. If you could take an x-ray of your marriage, what would it reveal? That's what we want to know. Because awareness is curative. We psychologists say that all the time. Awareness is curative. You can only change something that you are aware of. That kind of awareness is the beginning of getting control of your life and going down the path that you want to go on, not just where the winds happen to take you.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that. Okay, so tonight's all about money and marriage at our events. And on the show, we always talk about money, and we talk about marriage and money because, again, it's important to be on the same page. So as a psychologist, what would you say are like the top 2 things to get people on the same page when it comes to their money?
So number one, from my perspective, is understand your money history. In other words, go back and understand what money was like in your home growing up. And then number 2, understand your money type or style. And so, as you know, we have this assessment. It's called Better Love. And there's a whole page on money that looks at your money type.
Yes.
And understanding that is huge. And then it gets down to the tactics. This is what you are an expert at, where you begin to go, okay, let's look at things and the debt and the snowball, all that stuff.
Yep. So good, so good. Well, thanks for taking a little bit before the event to do this.
I'm happy to do it. To be on the Rachel Cruze show.
I know, coffee mug.
Awesome.
It's like the legit thing, right? Okay, so where can people find you, Les?
So LesandLeslie.com. And
Leslie's your wife.
Yes.
They have the same name.
That's right. It's confusing, but that's the way God planned it. And then, of course, BetterLove.com is where they can find that assessment.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks for being on, Les.
Absolutely.
Thanks.